Hello, virtual audience. My name's Neil Stanley. I own and operate Custom Water Service. We service customers all along the Great Lakes and in various parts of Ohio and Michigan and even Pittsburgh. One of the systems that we do a lot of is what I call the super pure deionization system. Deionization is one of the three technologies that the water industry would define as a pure water technology, meaning that it's going to produce water of distilled quality or better, sometimes even triple distilled. There's three types of pure water technologies that can take water and render it what is defined as pure water, anything under 10 parts per million total dissolved solids. You have deionization, which is what this system is. You have distillation, which requires electricity, and you have reverse osmosis, which even though it's perfect in certain applications, in this application it wouldn't be, because reverse osmosis systems are notorious for wasting water. So if you want pure water at your fingertips with, like what we have up here, a faucet just for this system, and you're on city water and you're paying for it and the water's not that dirty, and pure water is what you're looking for, then in my opinion the super pure deionization is about the best, most efficient way to go, because you're not going to waste any water like a traditional RO unit. You're never going to have to clean out scale buildup like you would with an electric distillation unit. These units are pretty simple. We've designed it for user-friendly maintenance. For instance, we have these quick disconnect shutoff clips here that you can easily take the tank in and out of. Now the tank's off. And what you see in the back here is the first process. We normally go with a 1 micron polypropylene filter. That's for sticks and stones, rust, debris, anything larger than 1 micron. We move over to an industry standard carbon block for taste and odor. That's a 5 micron carbon block. So that's going to be getting chlorine, chlorine byproducts, which combined, used chlorine in the water, which combined make up almost 4 parts per million total dissolved solids in any given municipal water supply that's using chlorine. And then we run it through the DI tank, which is the final process for producing the ultra pure water. And like I did earlier, it's pretty doggone easy to put these fittings back in. At least I'm having a hard time with this one. There goes that one. When it's been pressurized like this, it's kind of tough to get in. Okay?
And that's it.
And that's it. That's the system. Now, in the case of, we're here today at Marko Vovk's here in Lakewood, Ohio. And he's had this system for what, 3 years now,
Yes.
Marko?
Yes.
Okay. And he's been getting into high pH alkaline water. So what I've done is
This is the water that we've been drinking.
That he's been drinking.
At night.
Yep.
And that's a 9.5.
It's a 9.5 on the pH scale. So what we've done here is we've added this slimline filter here, which is not only going to boost the pH, but it's also going to structure the water, which is becoming a hot topic in the water industry. Structured water. What is structured water? Well, that could mean a lot of different things. But the way that I look at it, if you go online and you start researching structured water or structured blood cells, you'll see that when at a microscopic level, when looking at water molecules, if they're not structured, what the electron microscope will show is a bunch of water molecules all clumped together. And that also occurs in our blood. There's many different dynamics, many different things out there in the world that could make your blood or your water unstructured. One of them being one of the 4 different types of non-ionizing electromagnetic radiation, which has a tendency to unstructure things. And as you research, if you're interested enough and you can go online, you can see videos of that. See, when the water molecules are all clumped together, it's very hard at a cellular level for an individual cell to get a water molecule into its cellular membrane. So by structuring the water, the technology employed with this particular pH filter, we call it's not really a filter because there's basically media in there that's actually coming out of the water, and it's going to be boosting the pH like different minerals. Their claim to producing structured water is the crystals they're using inside of it. And crystals do have an affinity to do certain things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. Now, the pH also is a good type of water to drink with a higher pH, so it's not as acidic either.
That's true, and it all depends on what the user wants. The ultra pure, super pure deionization is going to be producing water of a pH quality of around 7, a little over, sometimes a little under. But at that point, the point is with the pure water, what comes out of that faucet's ultra pure, and you can do with it as you please. And it creates a wonderful base for doing whatever.
Basically, the city water, we don't have any more fluoride, chlorine, bacteria. We don't have any impurities, suspended solids, or anything that's in our pipes.
I would say yes, except for bacteria. Okay. There may be some types of benign bacteria that we've gotten used to over the years that the chlorine's not killing. If you had a UV lamp and there was bacteria present, and let's say the city said, hey, you got to boil your water because there's a water main broke, and as long as the bulb in your UV lamp was within a year's of age, then it should still have the nanometer frequency to kill any biological passing through the water.
And people do install those, don't they?
I've installed quite a number of them.
So people buy those
People
for their
buy
water.
them and they use them, but they have to realize that even though the light's on, if the bulb is over a year old, it's not killing anymore. Yeah. These inline filters here for the boosting of the pH and the structuring of the water, they require, it says on the label, RO water or better. Well, this is deionization, so this is much purer. So the water going into that inline high pH / structured filter there is ideal for the process. And all I did was put a T, and if you look up there, you see the two separate faucets. The older faucet is for the super pure deionization. That's been in for 3 years when we put the system in. Today we added a separate faucet, and we ran a separate line from the ultra pure DI system into the high pH structured water filter, and we're running it up to a separate faucet.
Should we go up there and look at that?
Yeah, let's go take a look. Okay, so at the top of the sink, you can see the existing faucet that we put in 3 years ago when we initially put in the super pure deionization system. And today, all we did is we added another faucet identical to the existing one, which is going to put out the high pH structured water. Let's run them both at the same time, just for fun. Run everything. Okay. We'll watch the increase in pressure just a little bit when I shut that off. These increased a little bit. That gained in power, and that'll happen with any of these. The Super Pure DI system is running a little over a gallon a minute, so it's going to take you about 50 seconds to fill up a gallon jug, which is really convenient if you're on the go. An RO system is going to take about 2 or 3 minutes probably, and the flow will get slower as more water is produced. And this is set for a little less than a half a gallon a minute right here. So in about 30 seconds, you'll get a little less than half a gallon coming out of this faucet. Okay, so this is a basic total dissolved solid meter. This is an excellent way to test the conductivity or the purity of water. The purity of water is measured by conductivity because ultra pure water will not carry an electrical charge because there's nothing dissolved into the solution of the water to act as a conduit or a transmitting utility, you might say, to carry a charge from one point to another. So this is the pure water, which came out of the first existing faucet that has the super pure, and we can put the TDS meter in there, and you see I don't know if you can see that on camera. Well, it's still at 000. So that's where you want it.
0, 0.
0, 0, 0. There's nothing in this water. Now check this out. This is the city water. This is the water we used before it went in the super pure system.
And that's got fluoride.
It's got fluoride. It's got everything in the water. Okay. And there, I don't know if you can see that, but it's reading 132 parts per million total dissolved solids.
And that's 132 parts per million of probably bad stuff.
Bad stuff. You know, chlorine, fluoride, chemicals, metals, you name it. Okay? Now, this is the alkaline water. Now, the wonderful thing about the alkaline water in this particular process, years ago I had a friend customer that was selling Kagan units. Now, these electrical ionizers that we find out in the market, if there's no minerals present in the existing water, like the water we're using now, Cleveland City water, is full of calcium and magnesium, okay? Without those minerals, those ionizers that are being sold, they won't produce the high pH water. They need those minerals present in order for the platinum plates inside of those machines to, I believe they shock the hell out of the water, and it renders the pH much higher, okay? In this case, now in dealing with those types of ionizers, Kagans, Chansons, and the other models that you find out on the market, in dealing with those, the pre-filtration is just that. It's just filtration. So they're just using maybe a sub-micron carbon filter. There's new media coming out to help with fluoride, but filters are still going to leave behind a lot of stuff. My buddy who sold the Kagan ionizers, what he would have me do is he would have me install Super Pure like you have here at the house, Marko, and then I would add 2 more filter housings after the Super Pure, and then he would put the calcium carbonate, kind of like what you have here. And he would add the minerals back so the ionizer could at least make the high pH water. And he liked the Super Pure because the Super Pure at least took everything out of the water, and there was no question as to what might be in the water before it was boosted to the high pH. Now, out of curiosity, I wanted to test the total dissolved solids, or the conductivity of the water coming out of here. And I thought it'd be a little more than where it's at now. I figured it'd be about 100 or something like that, because what's happening is the pure water's going through that high pH structured filter underneath the sink, and it's grabbing everything out of there and it's pulling it out, and that's why you're not going to have 000 like you had on the ultra pure. And that's measuring 75 right now.
But we know that that's 75 good stuff.
Right.
So we take the bad stuff out and put good stuff in it,
right,
and increase the pH for people like me that want high pH water,
right,
for diets and for our food.
Right. Yep.
Now, it's going to save me money if you look at that bottle behind there, the alkaline bottle. If you buy the pH water, it's approximately $1 a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is cutting the fee down to 10 cents a gallon.
Well, the unit is rated for 1,000 gallons. When I say unit, I'm talking about that high pH structured water unit we just put underneath the sink. So you would have to change it out about every 3rd DI tank, because that DI tank is probably producing 300 gallons of ultra pure water.
Mm-hmm. But it's around 10 cents when you once you look at, maybe a little bit more with the installation, but 10 cents a gallon is pretty good for structured water.
Structured high pH water, yeah. And you can taste the difference between the pure water and the high pH water. You can taste the thickness somewhat of the residual of what's coming out of the high pH with this. Yeah, and you can taste a definite taste difference between that and the ultra pure water. Ultra pure water has kind of a distinct taste to it. And with that being said, you have a wonderful system here with the best of both worlds, because you have ultra pure water to the left that you can use for whatever you desire. and then you have the high alkaline water to the right for whatever you desire that purpose for too.
And I got the city water.
And you have the city water to do your dishes with, and it's extremely cost effective. Now a system like this, just the DI system, if you put it under the sink, I would recommend a leak detector, but you're talking installed roughly $1,000. To add the alkaline filter and maybe another faucet, you're talking another $300. So you're talking, to do this right, about $1,400.
To do this whole system.
To do the whole thing what we did today.
Including a leak detector.
Including a leak detector, yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be drinking water that's not going to poison you, it's not going to make you sick, and it's not going to make your body go acid. You have a website?
Yeah, my website is Custom Water Service, and like I mentioned earlier, we do a lot of business around the perimeter of the Great Lakes, from Menor all the way up to Detroit. We have a big market in Toledo, and we just moved into Pittsburgh, and we've got a few softeners in south of Cleveland.
And you do full house systems, not just sink systems.
Yeah, we do whole house systems. We've been doing a lot of whole house filtration, employing larger versions of the filters I showed you at the beginning. I have an ultrafiltration system to do down in Dayton here soon, and the ultrafiltration is really neat because it'll filter the water down to below the size of a virus.
Wow.
Okay, and it'll actually capture the bugs, and then every other night for about 7 to 10 seconds, it uses about 3 to 7 gallons to flush the membrane. The membrane that we use for that ultrafiltration is from Germany. It's a BASF membrane, and it's the most efficient membrane, ultrafiltration membrane on the market. If you had something like that, you wouldn't need a UV lamp. You wouldn't have to worry about bugs being present in the water, even after there might be an emergency on the street with the main where you'd have to boil the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they get a hold of you?
216-287-9509, or they can email me at thewaterguy216@gmail.com.
All right.
And the website is Custom Water Service, and we'll travel for work if the price is right.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We learned a lot today, and I can't wait to start to utilize my new filtered water system, or
Excellent.
my upgraded
Yeah.
filtered water system.
Yeah, and like I said, you really have the best of both worlds. In doing the water, we've been doing the water, me and my buddy, for about 20, 30 years now. And we see different, I won't call them fads, but a new technology will hit the market, and a lot of people race to it. But what I've seen over time is a mix of going back and forth between the two. People going to alkaline water, going back to pure water, going back to alkaline water, going back to pure water. Our friend Roby had both. He had a ionizer, and then he had the ultra pure DI. But in this case, you've got a very efficient system here, very cost effective, and like I said earlier, you have the best of both worlds, in my opinion.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yep.
All right.